This tutorial we're going to cover how to add and edit products that are in your database. So to do that, you click this button here from the main form, Add Edit Products. And that in turn will open up this form where you can make changes, add new products, or do a lot of different things. So this is where you would select the product you're looking for here or add a new product. This area here covers the cost and discounts, things like that. This is for accounting purposes, not too much to worry about there. And this is where you can actually control inventory, make adjustments if needed. And we'll start off first by adding or editing an existing item. So to do that, you would just come into the vendor field. Now first I want to point out there is a SKU field here. The SKU is created automatically by Portal Pro. So when you got Portal Pro, you got a database with about 400,000 items already built into the database. And all of those products were had their SKU generated by Portal Pro. So that SKU will not necessarily match a SKU that's on a box for a particular product. Now you can use that if you like. You just check this box here and you make sure your cursor is in this field, hook up a barcode scanner, scan the code on the box, and will automatically fill this field in for you. So that's one way you can do it. Otherwise, just leave it blank and Portal Pro will create the SKU for you. The first thing you want to do is we'll select a vendor. Now we're covering vendors and manufacturers that are not part of Toad. That'll be a separate tutorial. So let's take this vendor here. And because we buy direct from this manufacturer, they are loaded automatically for us as a manufacturer, and that's done. If you watch the vendors and manufacturers tutorial, that explains that for you there and what to do, what checkbox to check. Now in the Add Edit form, you do have categories. Categories are necessary for one, they can filter a product list to only pull in certain categories, like all, you only want to see all locks, even though a company may have locks, closers, and a bunch of other items. But all you want to see are the locks. You can check the category, and that will filter the list to only locks. The other thing it's used for is for hardware schedules, to properly set up or sort the hardware items in a hardware set according to DHI standards as best as possible. For example, hang the door, secure the door, and on and on. So that's where categories come in handy. So let's say we do want to filter our list, or we can leave the category empty, and we can come over here to this box, check Show All, and by checking that will load all products from the database for this particular manufacturer. So if you look at the list, we see we have a list here. Now again, these drop downs all work the same. You can just start typing, and as you do, it'll bring up a list, and the more you type, the smaller the list will get. And you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to go up and down, and once you're highlighted the one you want, you hit the enter key on your keyboard, or you just simply select it with the mouse. So we'll go ahead and select this guy. You can see it loads all the fields for us. So if there's anything we want to change, things like pricing for non-Toad products, you would have to maintain yourself. So if there's been a change in the list price, then you can make it here. Let's say this product has gone up to $175. So we make the change here, we come down to Save Product, and then that will save it to your database. So again, this is the different things that are tracked. Your description here, if you need to make a change to a description, you can make it here. Now a part number you cannot change here. If you change anything in this part number, it's going to erase the SKU number and will actually create a whole new part. So instead of editing your existing part. So the thing to do for a part number is you come down here where it says update part number. So if I wanted to make some kind of a change to this, let's say instead of a 3, that's supposed to be a 4, then I can click update part number and we'll update the part number accordingly. And the same goes for category. You can't change the category here. You have to come down here to new category, select the category you want to change it to, whatever it may have been. Maybe you accidentally selected locks when it should have been a light and louver. And then click this button and we'll update the category for you. Everything else you can pretty much edit from the field. Again, so description you can edit. You have an active and inactive option. If a product is no longer being offered by a manufacturer or whatever, you can make it inactive by checking this box here, click Save Product, and then when you're in estimate or a sales order, that item will no longer show up in the drop-down. It will still be in your database, but your sales staff will not be able to use it. Now, Adobe Cuts, this is for cut sheets that you might need for door and hardware schedules and things like that. And the way it works is the best thing to do, if it's a non-Toad item, Toad typically, for about 99% of their products, they also supply the cut sheets for each item. But for anything that's not part of Toad, you would have to create your own cut sheet. You do that by going to the manufacturer's website, downloading a PDF file, or creating a PDF file yourself, whatever it is, but it has to be a PDF format. And then you store it in what should be a shared location. If you have, let's say you have 5 salespeople in your company and you're all working with Portal Pro, somebody creates a cut sheet, but they store it on their computer. Then they go off on vacation for a week. Their computer is password protected. You can't get into the computer. It's not turned on. So Portal Pro will not be able to get access to that PDF file because it's on their computer. So it's best to create a shared drive, either on a server or on a PC that's always on and always available. Map a drive to that folder if necessary, and then store your PDF files there. And then after you've created it, you just click this Get File button, and it will open up into that folder that you created for cut sheets. And you just go to the PDF file, just double click it, and you see it saves that path. That way anyone working with schedules or anything like that can get to that PDF file for a cut sheet. Okay, everything else pretty well explanatory. This is your discounts that were created from the vendor that you selected. You can change that here if necessary. The multiplier, cost and everything, the net add. Net add is typically used with a manufacturer who will discount the main item for a product, but maybe there's an ad for that product that is not discounted. That would be a net add. So you could type that in here. Now Toad will add that in for you automatically if there is one, so you usually don't have to worry about this. And then we have a surcharge. You can enter a surcharge percent if it's just for this item only. Whatever it may be, when I type in the percentage, it will automatically generate that surcharge and add it to the cost. The other option would be to manage all of your surcharges under Administration, and right here, Manage Surcharges. This way you can do it for all products for that vendor or whatever products that will have that surcharge. That'll be covered in a different tutorial. And of course this part is for accounting. Now up here you have unit of measure. Always select the unit of measure. Weight, if you do any shipping to job sites, it's good to, even if you have to guess the weight, at least get close. Maybe this lock is 7 pounds. And that way when you're doing an estimate or a sales order, Portal Pro will generate an approximate weight total, so you can get shipping charges from whoever you might want to get them from, truck lines or whatever. So again, just if you have to guess to it, just get close to give you a general idea of what your total weight will be. Now down here is where you control inventory. This will tell you this particular item, how many you have in stock, on order, committed, then the quantity available, and a reorder level. If there were 5 on the shelf, but this is saying there's only 4, then you come in here and you can just do add 1 by adding 1 and then click Save Adjustment. And that'll adjust your inventory, because God knows, we all know that inventory is the hardest thing to keep accurate. So you can make adjustments here for that. Then we covered this area here. This is where you, now I want to point out, these 2 buttons here you will not see. This only shows up on our copy of Portal Pro, so just ignore what you're seeing here. This, of course, is where you save a product. You can clear all fields here by clicking this button, or just clear the part fields. See, we can clear the fields that way. This is where you update Toad if necessary. That's covered in a different tutorial. And this, you can show product order history. How many times that product has actually been put onto a sales order. And this will be products to be added. Right now it says 0, but if you want to set the people up in your office as only 1 or 2 individuals who can enter a new part number, this doesn't include Toad. Toad will generate part numbers for you automatically. So anything that's not part of Toad, because you can get mistakes or discrepancies. For example, one person may type a part number as AU6256 or whatever, and somebody else may type the exact same part number as 6256 AU. That will actually create 2 separate part numbers that are supposed to be the same part. So when you're checking inventory, the one part number may show 0, but you may have 20 of the other one in stock. And then somebody will say, oh, we need more, so they order inadvertently more. So one way to eliminate that scenario is to limit under individual uses. That's under administration, under manage users, where you can control who can do what in the forms. And that way only a certain few people, 1 or 2 people or more, will have the ability to create new part numbers. So you always want to create a part number based on existing part numbers in the system. So follow the same format of what you're seeing here for new parts. And for new parts, if you want to add a new part, one thing you can do, let's say I want to add a new one of the lock like this, but in a different finish, maybe a 630 finish. Well, instead of going through and manually filling in all the fields myself, let's come back here with that vacuum door and get them back in here. One thing you can do is select an existing part number. You can see now I have the SKU number up here and everything, but I want to change this to a 630 finish. All I have to do is change that to 630, and when I tab out of here, you can see the SKU goes away, and now all the fields are still left the same, price and everything. If I have to adjust the price, I can do that, and now I can save a new product. So this will save you time on entering a lot of these fields. Now that comes in handy for doors and frames, because on a door and frame you actually get, looks like I just saved a new product. You can see now that I saved it, now that's in the list, so it's always there. I only have to do that one time. Let's say we're doing a hollow metal door or something. Let's go ahead and select the door. When I select the door, you can see I have all these other fields that open up. These are fields that are used on door schedules, so they do have to be filled in. Well, to save yourself some time, maybe instead of F, I want to make this a G. When I tab out of here, that goes away. And now I can just come down here and make that, because let's say this is a half glass. Now all I have to do is change this to half glass. Everything will be the same, and now I can save a new product. So again, these are just some quick shortcuts for you to save you some time when entering new products. Well, that should cover it. We'll cover entering new products with components. Oh, I didn't cover that. Over here you have a couple of buttons or check marks, non-inventory item. If you're adding an item that's, let's say maybe it's something like labor. Labor is not something you can put on a shelf, so it's not something that's counted in inventory. So you would check this box to make sure Porta-Pro doesn't count that. Then of course, if this is an item that has components, for example, a hollow metal frame, three-sided frame, 3070 5 3/4 right hand. That frame is made up of three components. That's a head, a hinge jamb, and a strike jamb. Typically, those components are the parts that would be counted in inventory. So to add those parts, you would check this box, has components. Now I can click on this button, add components. If I bring that form up, this is where I would add the components that make up this three-sided frame. So that'll be covered in a different tutorial. So that pretty well covers it. If you have any questions or concerns on how using this form, just give us a call or email. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Thanks, and have a great day.